I don't even know what cold open to do because we have so much to discuss about Love Island. There's a lot of shenanigans afoot, and I shall not be shenaniganized. I'll tell you that right now.
That and I had a very long, hot weekend down in Nashville. Yeah. Let's get back to it.
Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows. Bros and shows. Bros and shows. I gotta have me my bros and shows.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Bros and Shows. I am your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Villa Goots. What's up, dude?
Welcome back to the Villa. I felt that I was so out of the loop because I was unable to watch Friday and Sunday's episode. The first two episodes that I hadn't watched at least like as close to 9 p.m. as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't understand how you avoid spoilers. I already knew what happened. I was so pissed off when I got home this morning. It's awful.
You got to get on my algorithm because I don't get any spoilers.
I think we have a lot of talk about algorithms. I think we need to find a middle ground for both of us.
I should have just doom scroll all day long.
We need to get to a middle ground.
Okay.
But here's the thing, though. I think it did kind of soften the blow that I knew what happened at the end of Sunday night's episode. If I had watched that live and had to do with all of the dramatic pauses, screaming at my TV to just hurry it up. Usually I don't do that when Ariana's there. But without Ariana there, I'm just waiting on these idiot-ass Islanders who I hate all of them right now. Now they have to announce things. Half of them can barely read. Like, spit it out.
That was my whole thing. That's what I'm with you. I very rarely will not pay attention to the show, let alone fast forward or skip anything. But during that,
even during the milk challenge, you didn't want to just start skipping through that?
Here's the thing, like,
disgusting.
It was
the worst
so
thing
gross.
I've ever seen.
Foul. It was absolutely foul. I could smell it. I could taste it. I didn't care for it. But my whole thing, you know how much I pay attention to body language and the nonverbal stuff.
Yeah.
So during things like that, I just think it's so important to watch how their couple or their partner is looking at them doing what they're doing. I think you got a lot out of Sierra from watching Nick. And if I missed that, then I might not be up with everything. But for the vote itself, it was crazy how much you could skip, and they still hadn't made a decision. I was just like, okay.
Unbelievable. And again, I knew who the bottom three were for each, and I knew who went home, unfortunately. It took so long, just so long. And it didn't matter who got the top because they, of course, said, in no particular order, which, by the way, I think it was in a particular order because the two top dogs from each, Alandria went first. Alandria went first, and she did get the best. She was the highest vote for favorite in that villa. And I want to say Taylor, actually. Or no, I guess
Taylor was first or second.
I may have skipped through the dudes, actually. No, I'm not really sure.
Taylor was first or second. He was top two. And let me just start this out. I should have started the episode with this. Tandria lives. Tandria for life. They are not taking my favorite couple apart. And look, I'm getting a lot of shit for this. I'm getting a lot of shit from this from my wife. Okay. But
it is hit way too close to home.
This has invaded my household now. We're going to couples therapy in regards to Tandria now. No, but I need to, everybody, you've heard me saying it all season. I am still 10 toes down. I'm 10 fingers down now. I'm on all fours, just dug in. Wait, you just wait till the end of this season, and you're all going to be like, wow, Steele was so right.
Here's the thing that I would like our listeners to please do. Do not tell Steele that he's wrong, because he will go 10 toes, 10 fingers, his nose, his ass in the sand, and he will not listen to anything, and he will double, triple, quadruple down. There's nothing we can do about that.
Yep.
So just leave the guy alone. Leave him alone.
Make it worse. You're all going to make it so much worse.
Leave Brittany alone.
Leave Brittany alone.
Yeah, it's definitely. But let's get back to the bestest friends that ever were with no romantic connection. They are so great in the villa.
Fucking mouth.
They are.
Here, hold on. And I'll let you go because I will do this. All right. I will use I'll play devil's advocate a little bit. Okay.
With yourself.
Yeah. And just to anybody else out there that thinks I'm blind to what's going on, I'm not blind. Like the way that they kiss, that's not it. That certainly is not it. He kisses her like you would kiss like an acquaintance. It's like, mwah. So I agree, but I think they're building a real foundation that you can take from the villa and let it blossom somewhere in the south on their farm together. Doesn't that sound nice?
I think at the end of this, we should probably do predictions because we have Casa Amor coming up tonight.
That's a good point.
And that kind of goes right into what I would think is going to happen, but I'm not going to speak on it now. We'll save that for the end of the episode. But I do love that. I think they have such a great rapport, and they translate their friendship. And that's not a dig. Just hear me out. Their friendship translates very well to the audience because they are both clocking so much behavior from everybody. Now they're not clocking the most important behavior, and that would be the little guy over there in the corner who's just giving marching orders.
Oh, you mean the little guy with the big ass head? I'll say it. We're all
dragging that thing
around it. Look, it's huge. It's like an orange on a toothpick. It's got its own weather system. Go cry yourself to sleep on your huge pillow.
His feet don't even hit the ground when he sits down. Like, how do you do that all the time? Don't you just lose feeling? Imagine if we see one point he's just like kicking back and forth because that's what he's used to.
Swinging his tootsies.
God.
Yeah, look, I've been going lighter on him, but he deserves a lot of shit, and we're gonna give it to him. You continue.
It's just so hypocritical, and the other part of it is a lot has transpired, and I do need, and this kind of goes into the vote later. America needs to chill. We got one right. The Huda Jeremiah thing was awesome, but also Love Island needs to chill. Stop giving the Islanders the choice. They make the wrong choice every time. So let's pull
you have one dude on the dude's side leading the charge. I didn't think he was that ringleader. I don't know, 7 episodes ago, but now he certainly is. And I agree. You're 100% correct. This, and we're not going to spoil it because you guys get mad at us when we spoil it in the same episode. But the decision made at the end of this was not the correct decision. You are 100% right about that.
Yeah. And I have a theory about that, but it's the same as every other theory when people get booted. That they're going to come back for Casa Amor. It's got to be. Like, no.
They already showed who's coming to Casa Amor. It's nobody that we know.
Well, no, yeah, and they wouldn't spoil that though. That would be a surprise either way. Even if it was like Beldasha coming back, they wouldn't tell us that she was coming back. But anyway, why don't we start breaking down these episodes because we're already losing track.
I know
where the hell we are.
They jumble up, and just for reference, we are doing episode 15, 16, and 18. In this recap, we try to stay somewhat chronological, but inevitably we end up just jumping around everywhere because we'll get stuck on one thing. I mean, one of my highlights of the season, and she needs to be a recurring guest host, was Meg the Stallion. She was fantastic.
She is awesome, and I love that she had been following along so much. Like, you can tell that she really is, and she posted a TikTok last night, I guess it was, with her reaction to what happened after the voting. So she is locked in, and I guarantee you
with that.
Yeah, she was on our team. But there are a lot of, whether it's musical artists, an actor, other reality stars. There's a lot of people that are really locked in, and it's
musical
awesome
guest. Sorry, it's been a long weekend.
Jesus Christ. Oh God, you're gonna get me with that all the time.
Yeah.
My brain's not really working right now. But I just love the energy coming in and knowing what's going on. And she also didn't dig too deep into the Huda stuff, which was obviously the biggest focus point for pretty much the entire first part of the season. So she didn't really rag on her, which was great. She gave her some advice here and there, but you can tell she genuinely loves the show and is so happy to be there. It was just such a cool little situation when she popped up. Everybody's really excited, and she's excited to see these people who she didn't know a week ago, which is awesome.
And she's a superstar, right? Yeah. So see her come on there and be wowed at oh my God, this is Sierra's seat. It's that's pretty cool. And on top of that, she's a great host. She's a really good host. I thought she did a really good job with that whole thing.
Wait, they also did confirm once again, which they did this last year too. During those challenges, there is no music. We hear the music, but they keep it quiet so that they can pick up the audio from the people.
I'm
so
sorry.
they are twerking, they are dancing to nothing except for when Meg was blaring the horn.
Nuh-uh.
I swear to God.
That's not true.
They have to do it so that they can pick up everybody's voices on their microphones. Otherwise, it would be too grainy.
That's ludicrous. What do
Yeah.
you mean? Well, actually, if nothing, I give them more props for being able to do anything with no music.
Right.
That's wildly more impressive.
What I mean is, every time that you see a challenge that there's music and they're dancing, you're gonna have a good laugh to yourself, imagining them doing
Now
all
I'll
of this
giggle.
with no music. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I need to ask you something because
Go
I
ahead.
found myself in a place I didn't think I would be.
Oh,
But how do you feel about Huda in these 3 episodes?
she's cooked. She should go. I'm done with her.
Sure. Yes, agreed. I just think the dynamics are too wacky, but I found myself feeling bad. I feel bad for her.
No, I felt bad for Jeremiah.
I feel terrible for him, but I also feel bad for Huda.
I don't feel bad for Huda because it's not like she's doing like the funny type of like pettiness, like when it comes to talking to Pepe, when it comes to then talking to Hannah afterwards. She's not doing or like moving in a way that is really good for the house. You can tell that, like, I think truly, and especially after last night, she's empowered now. She feels like America loves her.
Well, I don't know what the fuck happened there. That seemed like such a layup to me. Like,
This was
that's
the problem.
wild.
And this is why I was so pissed off. And this happened on Saturday. I was having such a great day. But then I saw what the vote was. And I'm like, oh, cool. This is a good opportunity to get someone out who really has nothing. And, you know, on the girl side, I would imagine it would have been like Iris. Yeah, I didn't really see like anybody else. Like Amaya, you leave her alone. She has
Great. Done such a fantastic 180 to just
God. She's
like,
so funny.
honestly, she gets most improved of the entire season.
Most improved, but like she's funny, and then she also is truly deserving of love. She just seems so nice, and I feel so bad for what she went through with Ace now.
Yeah, me too.
Now that we like know her a little bit better,
we'll get to that when we talk about her.
Yeah,
Dum Dum.
Her and Dum Dum. Yeah, Dum Dum should have been on the chopping block. Speaking of,
Dum Dum needs to go.
Yeah, Dum Dum needs to go. Although he's gonna be funny as hell in Casa Amor. But Saturday afternoon, I'm looking and I'm like, what is going on? Why are we doing this? Everybody started treating it like last week's vote, where it was really funny to break her and Jeremiah up because it made a lot of sense, but it also made a lot of sense for the show. So yes, 2 birds, 1 stone. Incredibly funny to watch the crash out. Also better for the show because this is really killing it. When it came to be what we were doing on Friday night, the fact that Huda was now all the people on Instagram, all the people on Twitter were talking about voting her as the #1 girl in the group was insane to me.
Joke. Don't make it a joke now.
They're making that part a joke, which is insane because this is exactly what's going to happen. Now that those votes came out, she now thinks that America loves her and they hated Jeremiah. So now she's going to be even more empowered, which is not going to be great. And by the way, all these bombshells and Casa Amor people watched the show. They are, if you want to look at TJ's conversation, they are steering so far clear of her. She's not going to be a factor.
I know. And that's the thing with her. Put everything else aside, like how you personally feel about it. The people in the house, like the dudes in the house, are not going to associate. And like at that point, you don't need her there anymore. It's just taking away from the show. Yeah, exactly. So I'm with you there. As far as like the joke vote, this is the same thing as why you don't ask America to name things like Bodie McBoatface, and like we can't take anything seriously. And I mean, clearly with the current state that we're in. But the one thing we do really get from this episode in 15 was the arrival of 2 new bombshells with TJ and Andrina. And I don't know. I don't love TJ, but I just think he's kind of bland. Yeah, he's just like very vanilla. I think Andrina is a great addition as a bombshell.
She's a very good bombshell. But like the girl bombshells, the girl bombshells, they're all great. They all have like differing personalities. They're all beautiful. When we get a guy like TJ's better looking than, I'm not going to go back to Jalen, but he's got, he's over 1 million followers now on TikTok. So we can point him out now and not feel bad about this.
Man.
We get so many duds for dudes, and I hate it. And I feel like Andreina is a really, really good bombshell, but you have to deliver the same on the other side. You can't just throw a dud in there. That's not really going to work. My favorite part of the entire build what are we calling it? Build a bombshell
I like that.
workshop.
Sure.
I don't know if you caught this, but at the end of it, when the girls finally built TJ and TJ walks in, Amaya goes, "We build you."
She's great. She's
She's
great.
the best.
She
She is
is.
the best.
This is actually a really good representation of how much they've been missing on the male bombshells.
Mhm.
Because with Andrina coming in, every dude there forgets about their partner. They're like,
Yep.
I'm in. Like
Yep.
they're all making jokes. Nick's making jokes. Everyone that's in a quote unquote close relationship, they don't care anymore. They just want to go and get to know her.
Mhm.
We haven't had that happen with one male bombshell yet. Like TJ,
Nope.
they're all like, oh yeah, he's hot, he's this, he's that, he's whatever. But even then, it's not like that jaw-dropping moment of like, fuck everybody else, like that's my guy. And we need that.
Exactly.
And there's no
Yeah.
way that out of the pick of all these people that want to sign up for this show, that you don't have some smoking hot dudes. So like, why do we have the B team? What's going on?
I just don't know what the hell is going on. And I feel like this is still, we're in week 3 at this point. There's still so
Yeah.
much more to go. Everybody seems so closed off. And there's like 1 or 2 floating around. I don't trust Ace and Shelly at all.
No, dude,
And for
I'm
the
gonna
things
get
that
into
keep
that.
coming out.
Yeah, we're gonna
all the
hold,
stuff
we
that
need
keeps
to break
coming
that
out.
down. Fuck it, do it now. Let's break that whole thing down.
Well, naturally in America, there's a ton of misinformation floating around. So now once people start to see like, oh, whoa, people are talking about Ace and Shelly, I'm going to concoct a crazy story. The first story that came up about Ace and Shelly was that they're actually in a deeply committed relationship and they thought this was a good opportunity for them to both get their platforms off the ground. I think she wants to start modeling and he wants to start being
Dancing.
a reality TV star and being a dancer or whatever. I don't know, maybe get on Dancing with the Stars. Makes a lot of sense. Whatever it might be. That they're actually in a committed relationship and they decided to do this for their own personal brand and they were just going to go through with that. And we
I
did
don't
see the
believe that
video.
one.
Well, we did see the video where he said, wish Shelly a happy Valentine's Day back in February, which is what we talked about last week. Between that and that, now people started taking it a step further. Then they were saying, what's actually going on is that Ace and Shelly are in a relationship, but what they're doing is they're going to set it up so that Ace can have a falling out with Shelly and return back to Amaya, and it's going to be the biggest enemies to lovers thing ever,
What?
and they're going to win.
No.
And I'm like, now we're going too far off the cuff. And I saw at one point that Ace and Shelly were married, and there's a whole fucking thing out there. It gets so saturated with fake ass like details that you don't know what's going on anymore. But something stinks when it comes to
I
the two of
agree
them.
with
I
that.
don't trust it.
I'm gonna go somewhere in the middle, okay? And Austin plays a big role in my theory. So you can't refute the evidence that we've gotten, right? They
Yep.
clearly knew each other more than just passing by in front of a bar and following on Instagram. I don't know if they've ever hung out in person, and if they have, I don't think it's been more than once or twice. I do firmly believe that, but I do think that they have harbored some kind of relationship virtually. And I think that it's gotten to the point where maybe, there's a little sexting going on. I don't know, but they've definitely gotten intimate via Instagram. Okay. So I do think that on some level they concocted a plan. And I don't even think it's like them putting their heads together going, hey, this is what we're going to do. But I do think that it was some unspoken agreement that they're going to go on the show. They're going to play the game. And that at some point they're going to come together. And because of their chemistry they already have, they're going to end up being everybody's favorite couple. Now, Austin plays such a big role and adds to my theory because anybody watching the show can tell you that they had no chemistry that entire time. But when she would go to a confessional, I would always scratch my head because she's like, I'm really liking getting to know Austin. I really think he's a great guy. I think there might be something there. I want to explore this. Meanwhile, we're watching and going, there's nothing here.
There's no chemistry at all.
It would be gross at this point.
Yeah.
I don't want to see you guys make out because it's so platonic. So fast forward and everything goes the way it goes. Now those two are together. Austin was a scapegoat or a scapegoat, as we like to say around here. And they tried to play this whole thing perfectly. The problem is you have to have contingency plans in reality TV because we're going to dig. People are going to dig and they're going to find you saying, wish Shelly a happy birthday. So I think they had some unspoken agreement. I'm sure they talked about the show a little bit coming into this, but it was more so we're going to end up together. We just got to do it the right way. And that goes to Ace, because now Ace is the guy that's running around saying scammer, scammer, scammer about Jeremiah, because he jumped in too heavy too early. So it's like that person that speaks up too much about something, right? Like they're so adamant about some topic, and then it comes out that they're the worst perpetrator of that thing.
Yep.
That was the Ace effect. So between Ace, Shelly, and Austin, bang, that was their plan. And now it's coming out. And now the biggest issue is Ace is fucking with the rest of the show, because he's got all these dudes following him around like little puppy dogs. So that's my theory. I think I got it right, honestly.
I think there's got to be something in there too, and I don't know what the rules entail when it comes to being selected for Love Island. I don't think you can share that you were selected, so they may have maybe not known. They would have probably known that they were interviewing for it, though. They could have gotten that far, and they could have said, "Hey, wow, you're interviewing too? That sounds so cool. What if we both got picked? How great would that be? Maybe we can do this." Whatever happened to just filing on the missed connections part of a newspaper or Craigslist? You know what I mean? Just throw it out there. Go meet up somewhere.
Guy?
I don't even know if Craigslist still exists.
This is a strange turn we've taken. Go on.
Yeah. Missed connections. Saw you out front of a bar. Have your Instagram. Maybe we can meet up somewhere in Fiji. I don't know.
Maybe that's what happened.
The biggest problem, and this is the biggest problem of like what happened in these 3 episodes. I really loved the way that Ace was moving while Jeremiah and Huda were together. Once they broke up, he needs to take a step back. If he doesn't take a step back, it just shows that he either A, hates Jeremiah, or B, which is what I think, he's incredibly jealous of Jeremiah.
That's the one.
He's incredibly jealous of Jeremiah because every time that Jeremiah does something, he doesn't have to work for a connection. He's now, at this point, almost on connection number 3. Him and Iris started hitting it off, but as soon as Andrina goes in there, he starts moving towards her, and she's accepting of it. She didn't do anything with Ace. Iris and Ace, they were something at some point, even though I still feel like that was kind of fake.
That was just a one combo thing.
I feel like that was the whole like reaction to that, where he's like, "Damn, like what's going on? I didn't expect this." It's like, I don't believe you. I didn't believe
that
you
either. But that's more throwing things out there to try to throw you off the track.
All right, so if you're gonna stand up on your soapbox so that you can, see eye level with everybody else that's there, and start preaching about this connection bullshit. Yeah. Where you're talking about, and at the time it made sense, but you're talking about Jeremiah only going for one connection. You're not branching out. You're so closed off to everybody else since day one. Who else is incredibly closed off to everybody else? Ace. Taylor, your boy, Ace.
Ace, you're closed off with Shelly, because that's the other thing.
No, I know, but Taylor is truly. I have not seen him talk to another girl. Else. He's barely even trying to connect with Andrea, to be honest. But when it comes to everybody else in the villa, he's not even having a conversation with them. He's being like if you want to call them mom and dad, the very platonic mom and dad talking to the rest of the villa about what's going on everywhere else. I know, I can't help myself. But Taylor's doing that. Nick, I'll give you Nick because he seems to have big eyes for any new hottie that walks in the villa. Fine, great. Austin, big dum-dum. Pepe just got there. We don't know what to think of him yet.
I like Pepe.
I think Pepe's going to be fine, though, because he didn't even seem that broken up at the end of Sunday. But when it comes to Ace, you've been doing all of this shit for one person. You faked, you got Yulissa, so you get an extra couple of days there because, your connection was stolen from the villa in the middle of the night. You woke up a little delirious and you didn't know what was going on. We'll give you a couple of days to assimilate into the rest of the group. Fine. You pick Amaya and immediately just start turning on her and staying away from her and then sleeping in soul ties by yourself.
Wait, that's a great point because you didn't even attempt to have a connection with Amaya.
Not even. He tried to have a disconnection with her. You worked really hard at disconnecting from her while connecting with Shelly, who you've been connecting with since day one, who you told us that you knew already. So where have you branched out, buddy? Nowhere. So this whole bullshit about I just see another guy who's just doing the same thing, falling into the same cycle. He's going to be with Andrina the entire time, and I just can't have that. You're going to be with Shelly the whole time. Do you think we're going to vote for you now? We get the opportunity, and I know this for a fact, if America gets the opportunity to just straight up vote a guy off, Ace is gone. He's going to be gone. And if it happens this week, he's screwed because it'll be like 98% of the vote. And that's that would be a good course correct because we have to stop leaving the votes to these idiots. They don't know what the hell they're doing.
No, I completely agree. And I think with the whole Ace thing and like our case against Ace, if you will.
I will.
there's too many things that don't make a lot of sense. And like, I'd be fine. I don't mind having the villain role on any show in reality TV. You know that. But when you're now affecting who remains, that's a problem. That's a big problem. And that's exactly what he's doing. And it reeks of jealousy, dude. It reeks of jealousy because I also think that Ace was interested in Huda early on and he locked her down like that. Iris comes in. She has eyes for Jeremiah, like you said. And then Andrina comes in. Jeremiah. Objectively speaking, Jeremiah is a gorgeous man. Okay.
I think he's the best looking dude in the villa.
Yeah. He's one of the best looking dudes I think I've ever seen, if we're being honest here.
Well, let's be clear. Yeah.
I want to be very clear here. So, yeah, I think that a lot of these dudes are jealous of him. And I think that when you have somebody on the other side of it, like an Ace, vocalizing that, and the other guys hear it and they go, oh, he feels that way too. It's like, oh, yeah, you know what? Fuck this guy. And it's like, no.
I think that rings true for Taylor. I think Nick has ulterior motives, but we'll talk about that.
With shady on Nick.
Dude. Yeah, there's something going on there. We'll talk about that when it comes to the vote. But I mean, I'm glad that we're both on the same side when it comes to Ace.
Yeah.
Again,
totally.
I really liked it because it was funny at the time. But once Jeremiah and Huda were done, there was no reason to continue to go
Jeremiah
after him.
alone. Yeah.
And that switch up was crazy. And I know we talked about it last week, but when he goes on a date with Iris and he's talking about how nice it was to like move on, you can't then tell the guy, hey, you got to go check on your ex.
That shit was nuts. Nick too.
You guys just worked so hard to get the two of them separated, and now you're making them feel bad. Like, I feel bad for Jeremiah. I really felt bad for Jeremiah because at some point, aside from Austin, who might be in love with him, who can blame him? You're going to be sitting there by yourself. None of these guys like you. You don't really have friends in the villa. Every move that you do is wrong in their eyes. It's got to be exhausting. So if somebody, and spoiler alert, if somebody were to come back to the villa, I would love it to be Jeremiah because he can move so much better and he would be like a return villain arc. And that would be awesome.
I think he deserves that chance. I agree. Like how he handled the Huda thing wasn't great. And I don't think that, she was the only one to blame that whole situation, despite catching the vast majority of the flack. But I also think that you could argue Jeremiah got bullied out of the villa. But let's talk about the What's Your Beef challenge. Let's get through this one. Who on earth was like, let's do a whole thing around milk in 98-degree Fiji? That'd be sick.
Like there's no way that milk was refrigerated above coming from the udder. And we know how long these challenges take. Thanks, Paige. They take about 4 or 5 hours because you're out there in the grueling Fiji sunlight with milk all over your bodies. And they don't even let you go shower as soon as you get home. That's crazy. Everybody's just do your like milk first. Oh, not only that, they have to hang out and like decompress and talk about it. They're sitting all over the furniture covered in stinky ass hot milk. It was the grossest thing I've ever seen. I think maybe I guess there's probably really only like one big thing to talk about from this, right?
Sierra.
Yeah.
Because I mean,
we did miss two. We missed two nighttime activities.
The first, Pepe and Huda.
Pepe and Hannah. No. In the beds.
Pepe and Hannah boinked last week, and that was. I couldn't believe they showed that shit. I was like, dude. I literally turned it down and go, Did she just spit in her hand?
Yep. Sure did. And this is, a day or two after the love of her life, Charlie, just left. So it's like, oh, jeez. Didn't take long to get over that one, huh, Hannah?
No.
So they boinked. Nothing really came of that, though. It just seems like, once again, and maybe this is a Hannah thing, when she was with Charlie and when she was with Pepe, we didn't see a whole lot from them unless like other people were interacting with them.
Yeah,
they just seemed happy.
Kind of do their thing.
They were just fine. They were doing their own thing.
The one thing I'll say on the Pepe front, and it plays in more later when you said you didn't seem all that broken up, we did get that, I don't know if it was a conversation or a confessional, where he's like, yeah, she's kind of a lot. He doesn't say it that way, but he's like, I don't usually go for somebody like that. She is bringing out this fun side of me, but I didn't take away from that he was like all in. I took away from that he was kind of like, I'm not 100% sure on this one because she seems like a lot.
Yeah, and that's how they should be. And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if they moved Casa Amor up a few days or weeks even.
To try to correct the ship a little bit.
Because Jesus, like it's boring. Like I'm sorry, but like now that
It's still
Hurricane Hood is
cool.
gone,
It's still good.
no, I know, but like it's stale compared to where we should be. We should be seeing
Agreed.
chaos at this point because people shouldn't be this closed off. Yeah, you're gonna have like one or two couples that just seem like they're in a great place or they're in an incredibly toxic place. Fine, but everybody shouldn't be coupled up.
I
Where's the
agree.
fun in that? Like it just end the show at that point and bring in new people. But the other nighttime activity was Nick and Sierra boinking. And
30 magical seconds. 30 magical
25,
seconds.
he said originally, and then it inflated a little bit. So
No, he's lying.
now. He's lying. Oh, wow. Lying about 25 seconds. What was it actually? 15?
Yeah, what are you 5?
Five.
Yeah, what are you fiver? Loser.
2 pump chump.
Yeah, like a 1 pump chump.
But yeah, so in the middle of the what's your beef disgusting gross milk challenge, you can see things are changing a little bit. And Ace had a good point on this when he's talking to Nick. When you have sex, obviously things change. Emotions are going to change. Nick is an idiot, to say the least.
He's not the brightest.
He's not the brightest. And I do really think that Nick and Sierra, because of what we've seen from them so far, they don't really seem to be like getting their feelings hurt too often. You know, they take advantage of the challenges. They're very good sports in the challenges. We've seen both of them get pulled by different bombshells. They have very cordial conversations. I would say Nick's lean towards flirting. Sierra lean towards, I'm kind of like, I'm good with Nick, but I'm still open. So it's pretty apparent to me that they've probably had conversations about this. Like, hey, let's have fun in the challenges. We're not going to be too upset about things that happen. And at the end of the day, we'll get pulled here and there and everything's going to be fine. And as long as we choose to come back to each other, that's great. That's the vibe that I got. Once you have sex, all of that changes, at least for Sierra. Maybe not Nick because he's an idiot.
I don't think it changed for Nick, but
yeah, this challenge was over the top a little bit. I don't think that Sierra was wrong to be a little weird.
No, not at all.
Going on.
Sierra.
Yeah, he was a little more active than he had been in last challenges. And this wasn't just because, our senses were heightened and we were focusing on it. He was going after everybody. It was the milk. Yeah, he was. Yeah, God. I don't know how the fuck he was
I kind of remind you every time.
Yeah, I know. But like then he's drinking the milk. I'm like, what's going on here? Oh, by the way, when they're dumping the milk on people, it looks so watery. It's like, what's going on?
I mean, I hope they watered it down.
Maybe it wasn't actually milk.
It was absolutely milk with the way they described it afterwards. Everyone was grossed out. Hannah was gagging. Like, I don't want to. We don't have to dive too far into like the milk part of it. I think we've done enough. But I think with the Sierra Nick thing, I agree. I'm on her team. I think that once you boink, especially given their trajectory, I think that adds to it too. Because it wasn't like, just this fiery hot. I mean, they were obviously super attracted to one another. Like the sexual tension was legit. But it's not like they just jumped on each other and boinked and then kept doing other things. It's like they've specifically been saving that for some time frame, right? So then it happens like very organically where they're just like smooching, fooling around, and then it's like, oh, we're doing it. So I think that adds to it too, because you could argue that that's not boinking. That's more on the side of making love kind of deal. So
I would agree.
I think that adds a lot of emotion to it. So what I see when we get this challenge, Sierra's a good sport for a while, and I think her intentions are very clear. Like she wants to get further into this thing with Nick. And I think on the flip side, you might have seen a little bit of a panic throttle from Nick where he was like, oh, fuck, like it's getting serious. That was a big decision. We boinked. Like she's obviously going to have different emotions. Now I have different emotions now. Maybe he's scared of the emotions. So he leans harder into the challenge. On top of that, he's very attracted to Andrina. She's attracted to him, Neek, as they say.
Nicholas.
And I think the big difference that you saw was like we've seen a lot of challenges now, and we've seen a lot of like boisterous making out and that, but it's more on the like, hey, it's a challenge, let's lean into this. This was very ass grabby. This was very sexual. And it's funny to say, like, when people have their tongues all the way down each other's throats, that it's not overly sexual, but it just has a different feel to it. This felt like he was really trying to like make an impression.
Yeah. It seems, I don't want to say that it seemed like he got scared after they had sex and he's like, shit, am I like getting towards closed off? Like, is this the best opportunity that I have to like have fun? Like, it didn't really seem like that, but it just seemed like he did go a little bit further than he needed to. At
I
least,
agree.
just remember the girl that you just had sex with is in the crowd and she's been extremely cool about all
been
of this.
super
And
cool.
you've been really cool about a lot of it for the whole part. But this was a big mistake, I think, on his part.
I think he made it. Yeah, I think he whiffed on this one, and I think
He
the
made a
harder.
boo-boo.
Well, the harder part is, they obviously talk about it later, and I think that she obviously felt some type of way, but at the same time, she takes it for what it is. She's like, it's a challenge. We need to talk about it. I don't want to overreact to anything. She gave him the opportunity to be like, hey, I'm still all about you. And he kind of faltered. He kind of went the other way, more like, we're open, right? Like, this is what we came on the show for. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm attracted to Andrina and like this and that. I was like, oh, man. Like, that's.
Yeah, he
that's
fumbled
tough.
through that. And I think Sierra kind of handled it pretty well. But you can tell that like she was kind of in her head about the whole thing. And like during that conversation, I did understand where Nick was coming from. And this is kind of like when I created my hypothesis that they had talked a lot about this and how they're going to handle these types of things. I don't think it was unfair of Nick to say things like, obviously I'm attracted to Andreina, but like you have to also say, I'm super attracted to you. And obviously, like, you're my number one. I'm in with you. We're not fully closed off. We'll have a further conversation if you want to. But, it takes some accountability, like a little bit. And I think he was afraid to take any accountability because then it becomes a slippery slope. And then all of a sudden you are in like a Jeremiah Huda situation and you don't want to be there, especially after what you just watched last week. So I don't know. I don't really think there was, based on his actions, I don't really think there was a right answer because you could find yourself, professing your love to Sierra in a way, and then things could get a lot worse. So I do think if you think about it, he's still in a pretty good position and he gave her, a little bit of space and then they're fine the next day. I don't know. It's something that
they're.
I think they're fine.
But here's what it does is I think Sierra was probably closer to closing off. Obviously, I mean, she says as much, but
yeah,
I think what she just did was open that door again. And I think that when she and TJ hit it off somewhat, I think when they're having more conversations or, make out in the speakeasy one night, he's going to have that oh shit moment where he's like, whoa. Like, I didn't want that to happen. Like, he gets irritated by TJ bringing her coffee or tea or whatever. But at the same time,
twice.
like,
First time was funny. Second time was too much.
Second time's too much. Like, where's that energy in the conversation with Sierra? That's what I want to know. Because
that's a good question.
Yeah, that's kind of how I saw it. But we need to talk before we go any further about fan favorite Amaya. And dumb Mick Austin. Because I agree. I think she got shafted with Ace. I think that was part of Ace's master plan to disassociate with anybody not named Shelly. And I think she caught the brunt of that whole thing. Did she come on strong? Yeah, absolutely. But she also made it very clear, this is who I am. This is who I'm always going to be. And I'm doing my thing. Fuck anyone that doesn't want to. Now, we said Austin and her are, what do you call it?
The best option.
Yes, they make the most sense because on the flip side, nobody's going to go for Austin. Like, I just don't see it. And I don't know if there's somebody in Casa Amor that fits better, but like, he has the charisma of a milk dud. Like, the dude is
Why do you have to come back to milk?
Blah. Maybe it's just in my brain now.
Oh,
and I was also trying
milk on the brain.
Milk on the brain, dude. I can't get it out of my head. Not in a good way. But like, I guess what's the good way? Well, I didn't know if like maybe
euphemism?
I didn't know if maybe it came off as like I can't get out of my head. Like, I'm just thinking about all of them like smooching and rolling around and stuff. I wanted to make it clear, like, no, I'm thinking about it because the milk grossed me out. I was trying to differentiate so people don't think I'm gross.
Yeah, it feels so good when I get milk out of my head.
Oh, yeah.
No, but like, stop. I do feel bad for Amaya. You're right. She was extremely upfront about her personality, and she does come on strong. And we saw her get her shine back, but she came on extremely strong once again. And we thought, maybe Austin can handle it. And he can't. He's just
I
simply
figured
can't.
that's what he wanted.
I figured he did too, but I don't think it is. I think it's a lot. And she is a lot. Like, even from third party watching it, it is extremely strong early on for her to be doing all of that stuff. And she's doing the same shit that she was doing to Ace, and Austin's handling it a little bit better, obviously. But
Yeah.
unfortunately for Amaya, and as much as I like her, unless there's somebody perfect for her on the show, it's just not going to work. Dudes in this show are not going to react well to doing that. They're going to be looking around while she's talking to her about like her life and going on some crazy tangent and calling them babe the whole time, because she has this mentality of like, we are so strong, and it's like a day in, and it's like, okay,
I know.
like,
And
we
like,
do need, and I love her, but like, you got to
too.
relax a little bit, or you're not going to have a good shot at staying for a long time. You're just going to kind of keep going around the carousel until somebody eventually can just like be okay with it and is cool with your personality. I don't think any guy currently on this show is. Maybe somebody in Casa Amor is. Maybe there's a bit of a shakeup. Austin can come back with somebody, or I guess the girls are going, so the girls will have to be the ones to come back. But it's just going to be interesting to watch. And again, I really like her. It's just her personality doesn't really work super well for this show, unfortunately.
No, because it also what it does when you get into that mode. I'm not defending Austin. I think he needs to be off the show at this juncture. I don't know why he's still here, and I will be furious if Amaya gets kicked off of this show. I'm a big Amaya fan. I want that to be very clear.
Yeah,
but because she wants that like lightning in a bottle, like hit it off so hard that we're just all over each other and only about each other, it's like, well, that in turn is going to close you off to other people in the villa.
Yes,
because with like, we haven't really seen her talk to anybody else. You know, we saw her talk to Ace, got shut down, but during the Ace fallout, she only talked to Austin, really. Like, she's
and
not
Charlie.
trying to, well, I mean, God, that was brutal. But and she just showed what a great person she is by being like, I'm not going to fuck my girl over like that. Charlie, settle down. It's hard for me to see a route unless she meets some dude in Casa Amor that's like all about it, and like then maybe we'll eat our words, because I want her to find love. I really do.
Now that I'm thinking about it, like in a scenario in which somebody matches her energy, even if it's like just to match it, not necessarily how you feel. Like you said, everybody's going to view that as, oh, wow, look at that. They're so happy. They're so boisterous. They're really getting along with each other. What's the point in us trying to break them up? Not that, again, any girl's going to come into the villa and be like, ooh, Austin's my number one. Like, we haven't seen that yet. But at the same time, if you are a dude that's like flirting with Amaya, maybe coupling up, whatever it might be, and you start doing what she's doing, everybody's going to completely stay away from it. Like, oh, you guys look so happy. You guys look so great. It just isn't going to work out.
It sets up that dynamic.
Yeah, it's definitely a little weird. And then the other coupling going on, if you will, there's a little bit of smooching going on all around the villa between Iris and TJ, which, they're both pretty boring. They're both so fucking. They're both boring. I'm sorry, but they are both
really. I like Iris.
I think
I do. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
It's a product of the environment, or like a product of what she's gone through in her very early days in the villa. She just seems boring. TJ definitely is boring to me.
TJ's he's vanilla paste. He's just blah.
But the big bomb is Jeremiah and Andrina, because they are actually hitting it off. This is real. This isn't some weird like producer situation where they're pushing her to go after Jeremiah to see what happens or anything like that. She is genuinely interested in him, and he is genuinely happy and actually happy. He seems so much lighter. It was a bridge relationship with Iris. He got to the other side. Both him and Iris knew what was going on. They don't feel any type of way about it.
Right? And I really like those. Maybe that's why I like Iris. Maybe that's why I like her. That
conversation was funny. But it was really funny because Jeremiah called her a freaky frog. Where'd that come from?
That
pull that one out.
I will say, I don't know what generation. I get confused about like Gen Z.
They're Gen Z.
Are they Gen Z?
Most of them are. Yeah, they're on their early 20s.
I'm gonna date myself here, but like the vocabulary is wild. Type shit. Like everything's type shit. I'm like, bruh, like what? Like, yeah, type shit. I'm like, that you're not saying anything. What the fuck are you talking about?
It's type shit is just a confirmation. Like,
I understand what it means. Thank you.
You know what type shit is? Type shit is that part.
Yeah, type shit.
Yeah. So you can
I
kind of
get
trace
it.
it back through the
I,
vibes.
I understand it. I'm just saying, it's
Well, I
like
didn't know if you did.
listening to these conversations. I'm cool. I'm hip. Listening to these conversations, it's just funny to me because like the stuff they're saying is just it's fucking funny. Like yeah, type shit, or like I'm on that type shit, and they all say
Yeah.
it. Everybody. So like it's
Yeah.
just funny, and it's you see that difference in generations, and we're getting to that age now. So it's like these wacky kids and their words.
An incredibly depressing tangent.
Yeah, you like that?
We're getting so fucking old.
Yeah,
We're gonna die any day now.
Yeah, type shit.
But
See?
yeah, I mean, I did like that conversation that they had because it showed that they both were supportive of each other. Like, hey,
Yeah, I
we were
liked it.
forced to be together, and then we weren't forced to be together in the door challenge, but it was the best opportunity for both of us to move forward and try
Iris
to get
was
past
so
everything.
solid during that whole thing. You got to give
Yeah,
her credit for that.
she was great during all of that. She was a great sport. And it finally got to a point where like we weren't focusing in on Huda doing all of these things. And obviously, editing makes it look like Huda's always staring at Jeremiah, but there's multiple points where you can see when they flip to a different camera, she's not even in the room. Like when he comes and delivers Iris and Andrina breakfast, they make Huda look like all jealous and like weird looking at Jeremiah. Then they'll flip to a different camera and Huda's not even in the room. So it's like, okay.
For the record,
Stop with the smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, kind of, but you know that those looks are being done when she's not on camera. Like, there's no way she's not staring at him throughout the day, every day.
Who the fuck knows? She could be doing this. She might be making dirty looks at Hannah at this point because she wants Pepe.
Oh, that whole thing's wild. That was weird.
Yeah,
that was
she could
shitty,
be making
bro.
dirty looks at Iris again because she wants TJ. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on with her.
Yeah, the whole thing with her, man, I don't know, dude. And that's where it comes down to, like, she just needs to, she fucked up.
She's got to go.
Yeah, she fucked up. Her gameplay was bad. And now she's a pariah. And like, TJ, and that's the other part too, is like, unless we get an influx of like 4 dudes, and maybe her destiny lies in Casa Amor, I don't know. But unless you get multiple men coming in at one time, she's not going to have a shot because if it's a one-off, the guy's going to be like, I saw your shit with Jeremiah. Like, I'm not getting involved.
Yeah, I don't think they can say that verbatim, but yeah, I mean, that is what they're thinking.
That's what TJ said. That's what TJ said when they sat down to talk. Yes.
That's exactly what he said. And I think what we're going to get from Huda, whether it's Casa Amor, whether it's a new bombshell, it's more of the same. It just is. It's going to be cringy. It's going to get really, really exhausting very fast. And we are going to get so sick of it. And not in a good way. It's not like we're going to be looking at it like, oh, I feel so bad for Huda. Like, I might start feeling bad for her, but I'm going to be so tired of watching it.
Well, I do feel bad for her. I can't help it. I do.
I don't really.
I just can't help it. I don't know why. Like, I just...
Maybe if she stopped calling everybody bitch, I'd feel better about it.
She stopped calling people a bitch, and like, and maybe she's just trying to hype herself up because she's down in the dumps. But every conversation she has, she just like talks about how into her the guys are, and like they were moaning. Did you hear that? And like I can tell. And it's like, and when her and TJ have that conversation, she's like, "Oh, I'm just used to guys like being obsessed with me." I'm like, "Don't say that to people. That's a weird thing to say to people.
It's such a turnoff." Or like, I don't know. She's going to do it again. Like the guys are worried that Jeremiah is going to do it again. It's not Jeremiah. Like, yeah, it seems like he has a great connection with Andrina, but is he going to be able to explore that?
Why do they think that it's Jeremiah? Who is the reason that they think that about Jeremiah? Yeah. Because when like him and Andrina are on the couch together, that's the thing that he's putting in their ear. I know it's because he's jealous. And he's sitting there putting in their ear. He's doing the same shit he did with Huda. It's like, this is night and day from Huda. Do I agree that he's jumping all in? Yeah. But let's think about what's going on in the villa right now. He explored Iris. Iris explored him. They both were like, hey, we're best buds. This isn't it. They agreed. They moved on. What's he going to go to Alandria now? Or Shelly? Like, what do you, who do you want him to focus on?
You want him to run the full gauntlet and then you're going to be okay with it? Like, no, that's not how it works. And he, again, has now, this is pretty much his third coupling, because if we got to a point of a recouple, they're probably going to be together. He's slept in bed with 2 women. You've slept in bed with no women. Now you've got Shelly, but you removed yourself from the room when you had Amaya, and you didn't even have a woman to start off with because Yulissa got kicked off. So what are we doing? It just doesn't make any sense. And from Nick's point of view, I think Nick's fucking jealous. I don't think it's necessarily pretty much what Ace is saying, but it's it's a vehicle to get to the same place. I think that Nick wanted a shot with Andrina. I think that Ace wanted a shot with Andrina, if we're not supposed to believe the Shelly conspiracy theories. And when she didn't turn their way, when she moved on and she started going after Jeremiah and was comfortable to make out with him in front of everybody in the villa, and Hood is applauding it, which is wild. Now you guys are all like so fucking butthurt about it.
Yeah,
Like,
Steve, but that's what doesn't do any favors either. It's like, don't do that.
Yeah, no,
Tough
I
luck.
agree.
Tough luck.
It was okay because like even Alandria like started clapping and like they made it funny and she didn't have any like weird extra comments.
Because
which I was waiting
Alandria
for.
saved her by clapping
know.
along.
Thank God for Alandria.
I know.
She's by far my favorite.
No,
But
her and Taylor are the best together. They're the best.
no, I said Alandria is my favorite.
They're the best.
Did you see whoever's
Alandria.
running? I know you probably haven't seen this because you like actively avoid it, but Alandria, whoever's running her account, one of her friends, I think it is, put up like a picture of her and Taylor and said,
Oh, really?
I know my girl's gonna win this either with Taylor or whoever she ends up with. It's like, okay, everybody's focusing on that last part.
Yeah, look, we will come back to it. It's a long season. We're only like what, a quarter of the way through, maybe.
It's tough to say.
Yeah, we got a lot of game left. All right, a lot of game left, but I have high hopes for those two. You guys are going to see and be like, "Wow, Steele was right. Steele was right."
Well, let's get into the vote because I didn't have a hand in this one, so nobody can blame me.
I didn't either. You didn't text me and tell me to. You are in charge of doing that, so I know when I'm supposed to vote on things, and you didn't do it.
It was so hot in Nashville, and I was quite drunk on Friday night. I didn't realize it, but I did get the notification that said voting begins now, and I did see it, and I got upset. But I didn't want to look at it because I thought it was going to be a spoiler for some reason. I don't know. Who's to say what I was thinking at the time? But let's just get into the vote. We'll get into what happens. It felt weird. The whole thing felt weird. We don't get Ariana. We don't get like any special guests to come out and do this. Everything's left in their hands. Everything is conveyed via text.
Yeah,
all the girls have to stand up. One by one, you sit down. If in no particular order, this is who America does like. Here's the bottom three. So we're sitting there. We get through everything. We get to Hannah, Amaya,
Iris, and Amaya,
and Iris standing up there by themselves. Everybody else go sit down with your couple. Same thing for the guys. We're going to do the same thing. And we're sitting there with Austin, Jeremiah, and Pepe.
It's so clear who needs to leave in that group of three dudes. It's so fucking clear.
Even if Pepe went home, I probably would have been like, oh, that's kind of a weird choice, but like, I get it. If Austin went home, that is the right choice. And
that's the correct choice.
This was where the spoiler began for me because I was on Twitter last night. I was watching which was brutal too, because I was watching the NBA finals and Tyrese Halliburton goes down with a ruptured Achilles in like the first like 2 minutes of the game. I'm like, well, this game's probably over. Within an hour, I get a fucking update that says that Jeremiah has left the villa. I lost Jeremiah and Tyrese Halliburton on the same night. I was upset. I was very upset.
It's a tough night.
Yeah. So, and America did not have a hand in voting who goes home. The Islanders.
Tyrese Halliburton's Achilles. They didn't vote for
Jesus. Poor guy. But yeah, so the Islanders get to vote. The girl vote did not make any sense. I don't know what this was.
No.
And by the way, we don't even get the conversations that they had leading up to it, which I think they're going to save for movie night. I think we're going to be able to see that. And I've got a theory that builds into my next theory.
I don't even know what the fuck movie night is, but I'm stoked for it now.
Oh, yeah. So there's two things that you need. Now we've got Casa Amor coming up. That'll be
tweet night at some point too.
Tweet night will be probably before
that adds to my Huda theory. I'll get there.
Yeah. But yes, we'll have Casa Amor for the next week or so, and then it'll move into the other events that come to fruition, which movie night will be here's unseen footage or stuff that we've seen, but that the other person in the couple wasn't aware of, or if somebody's talking shit. So it could be, for instance, like the details would be like a real girl's girl, and it's all about Huda, and it's all the stuff that she said to their face, and then it'll show what she was talking behind the scenes. And then you'll be able to see what she did in both, and then it kind of creates a division in the group, whether it's in the couple or in the group of girls. So that's going to be great, and I think that they're going to save those discussions for movie night, which is part of my other theory. But we don't get to see the details. Hannah going home makes no sense. I'm sorry.
I was so pissed. I was on the plane today watching it, and I literally had to bite my tongue.
Balls to watch that on the plane a second time.
I learned how to do it. But then it looks weird too, I will say. Because I just
into the corner.
No, because I was in the middle seat. So if you
Jesus.
if you sit up like this, okay, and your knees are close together and you have your arms on your lap, like so, and you just shove the phone in your crotch, like right up under there. And so like
Yeah.
your legs and everything hold the phone. So it's all
Why
the
don't
way.
you have a tray table?
I do, but I can't have this up there.
You just put it like on the table and do the same thing and put it in between your arms.
No, because then people are still angles, you know, and there was a kid sitting behind me.
Oh,
Poppy was
man.
sitting next to me. She was asleep the
Oh
whole time.
man.
She was asleep the entire time. If she was awake, I wouldn't have watched it. All right. I'm not a lunatic. But I did learn that. You know, you just kind of put it, I'm doing it right now. You put it right there, and nobody can see it. It just looks like you're staring at your nuts the whole time. Seat. Staring at your seat the whole time. It worked.
Oh god. But like from Hannah's perspective, she went through hell last week. It was sad. It was insane. Yes, within 2 days, she was spitting in her hand for Pepe. But in the same sense, if all we're doing is the spirit of the game, she's playing it fine. She
She's doing
said when she
great.
came into the villa, I'm going to search around, see who I connect with. Connected with Charlie, seemed really happy. Charlie gets ripped away from her. She's crying. She has to be with Pepe, which seemed sad, but within a day, she's cool. She's happy again. Let's make her sad again. It's like, what the fuck?
It was weird.
And her reaction to it is the right way. Like, she actually said, what the fuck is this? And
Yeah.
then was so standoffish to all the girls who were like, it was a really hard decision. How? Like, what's going on here? Like, I don't know if it's. I think the true spirit of the game is corrupted because I think there are a lot more people than what we thought playing for the money. I think they are.
So too. I don't even think it's money. I think it's clout.
It's money, it's clout, but like, this is what happens, and this is the shitstorm you get when you get the villagers.
I like calling them that.
I like
villagers
villagers actually makes way more sense.
Makes
But
a lot of sense.
when you get them voting for people to go out, their agendas are going to pop up, which isn't going to be in line with what America wants, who are watching, who are essentially paying this cash prize because we're watching this so much. We should get what we want, not them, because now they can get out the big threats. You know, if you think that Jeremiah is going to bop around and by the end of this, everybody's going to be like, wow, what a journey he had. We really like him with X. We really like him with Andrina if they made it that far, or whatever it could have been. Then all of a sudden, Ace ain't going to win. Nick ain't going to win. But I'll be damned if I let them do it. If I let them get anywhere close to that 100K, I'm going to riot. I'll be in Fiji 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, you make a good point because when personal agendas, I'm not entirely against some Islander votes. I kind of like when the pettiness gets mixed into everything where, you know, it's a personal decision, not so much a broad decision. It has to be like a special event, like one night only.
No, they need to vote in fucking private. Like,
that
enough
too.
of this. Like, don't let them team up and don't let them
I think it changes votes because you got Ace over there, like, and they're like, oh, you're right. Jeremiah does need to leave. Stick them in a booth and make them write it down. They're not allowed to congregate beforehand and make them vote. Because I think
it should be Survivor. It's the same island.
Yeah, there you go. Like it just jades the vote because now you have outside influences affecting decisions.
Yep.
The only one that that's the funniest part because I'm sure Austin didn't vote for Jeremiah, but you would think that he's the most not influential, most likely to be influenced by somebody else. You could point him in a direction because he's, dumb. But I don't like it because of how often we're getting Islander votes. And I don't like it because of exactly what you said. We're getting agendas over, if you want to say the actual point of the show is to find love. Like you're getting away from that point. And like in this specific instance, because we know that Hannah goes home and Jeremiah goes home.
Yeah.
I would have understood more. I like Iris, but I would get if she went home. I like Amaya, but I would understand if she went home only because of like how she's moving about this whole thing. She was all in on Ace. He wasn't into it. Then she was all in on Austin and he's not really feeling it. Yep. So I would get it from a gameplay standpoint there for both Iris. Iris has been playing the game a little bit more than Amaya, I think.
She's warming up to it.
Yeah, Amaya is a fan favorite. She's great, especially the 180 she did. Like now that we've had time to think about it, and now that Ace is coming out as, you know, this sneaky scammer, you
Mhm.
feel for Amaya. So it's like, I would be okay if she was, I don't want her to leave
Yeah.
ever, but I would understand if she got the boot. Iris, I would understand if she got the boot. Out of those three, like you said, the one playing the game the most is Hannah. And at the other
Yep.
side of it, Hannah has said when she was in her thing with Charlie, she even said that she's like, you know, I don't know. And she went and smooched Pepe that night,
Mhm.
but they were like this. So, like, she's not the one. So
No.
I have to call into question. And I think that you've seen this, obviously, you've been on Twitter and shit. Now we got to start talking producers. And I hate that.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
hate
want to have
doing
to
that.
get the production conversation involved. We're doing that on Bravo enough right now where I don't want to have to do it on Love Island, but it's a valid concern. How much are they moving the needle? You're telling me that fucking Huda was not
Well,
bottom three?
she should have been. So that's the thing that came out. And this is, again, misinformation all over the place. But there was a final tally, and you could see the different percentages of who got votes. Huda was bottom 3 in all the screenshots that I saw.
See, shenanigans.
Mhm.
I said in the beginning, we got shenanigans to talk about.
Which
That's
should have been Huda,
shenanigans.
Iris, and Amaya. And look,
That
if you
makes more sense to me.
any of those 3 go home, I understand why.
I get it.
The
get it.
guys, on the other hand, Taylor was in the bottom 3, not
No,
Jeremiah.
absolutely not.
So he got the lowest amount of votes, by the
No, he
way.
didn't.
So
Absolutely not.
it's-
Will not agree
But
with
like,
that.
then they manipulated a little bit because the questions are, who's your favorite girl in the villa? And who's your least favorite guy in the villa? So they try to do that and like flip it around a little bit. So it's just, it doesn't really work. But also, I think it should be up to us to vote. You want to leave it to the Islanders to go ahead and like throw 3 names out there, and if they can come down to it, then have America vote, and then we'll find out what happens. Like, sure,
I would
go
prefer
for it.
that. I would
that's
prefer
fine.
that. That would have made more sense if we have 3 people standing there. It's like, all right, out of these 3 remaining Islanders, pick who you want to go home. Don't make
By the
us
way,
whittle it down to 3.
throw in a little fucking variable and have 3 of them be vulnerable. All 3
Mhm.
are vulnerable, and they're currently quote unquote not coupled up. And
Yeah.
we'll have to see how they move over the next episode or 2, the next day. So it'll probably be 2 episodes. And then we get a final vote in there. That would be great because
Like
then we
that.
get to see how they operate under pressure. They know America's watching them. Are they going to flounder? Are they going to step up? Like, there's so many different things that they can do with it. And I feel like they make the wrong decision so far this season, which I'm not crazy about. But I want to get into some predictions because
Yeah, let's
Casa
do
Amor
predictions.
starts tonight. And
Yeah,
if
it
you're
starts
listening to
in
this,
2
it's the day
hours.
after. So you already know what's going on. But the way it works, the girls are leaving. They're going to
Mhm.
Casa Amor.
All of
They
the girls
will-
are leaving?
All of the girls are leaving.
Okay.
So they will be in Casa Amor with, I think it's 7 guys and 6 girls. So
that
there's
means
7
Love
guys.
House.
It does, yeah. Good job, Steele. So they're gonna go over there. They'll be there for, I don't know, probably about, I think it's a week. So they'll probably like
Oh,
5
wow.
or 6 episodes, maybe.
The dudes are solo
Um,
for a week?
Nope. Girls go into the house. So the dudes stay there. Girls come into the villa.
Oh,
Yeah. So they'll each
fuck
have their
yeah.
opportunity over the next few episodes to make a new connection. They, obviously you say you're coupled up with X person, but you have an opportunity at the end of Casa Amor to couple up with anybody that you want in the villa currently. So any of the Casa Amor people. So the way it'll play out is when the girls return, the boys will be sitting on the couch, either alone, if they choose to be so, because they still want to be in the same couple, or with a girl of their choosing from Casa Amor. The girls will return very, slowly as they walk the red carpet, either with a dude or alone. And then you'll be able to see who's got a real connection. So, for instance, we'll use Taylor and Andrea. Taylor's sitting on the couch by himself, doesn't want to make a connection. He wants to be with Andrea. Alandria walks in by herself. It's really nice. It's a great time. She walks in with the dude. Oh boy, we've got some dramatic music. So I want to ask you,
Okay.
we'll just do the girls' side because I don't know what the fuck the guys are going to do, but the girls' side, let's go through each one of them and we'll find out who's going to come back alone and who's going to come back with somebody. Now, important to note, Huda is currently single. Andrina is currently single.
Yes.
And I believe everybody else is in a couple.
TJ, Andrina, Pepe, Iris, and Huda are solo.
Oh yeah, Iris. I forgot about Jeremiah leaving already.
Yep. And the couples, Alandria and Taylor, Shelly and Ace, Amaya and Austin, Sierra and Nick. So my predictions, one, couldn't be worse timing for Nick to fumble. Her headed out now, unsure about where they stand.
I think
I
she's
will
gonna
say
come back by
this.
herself.
I think so too.
I think
But
Nick's
I
gonna
think
be
Nick's
coupled
going to
up,
couple
though.
up. Yep, same. I
Very
think
cool.
a week with somebody else, he's going to be like, oh,
Yeah.
man. Oh,
Cool.
fuck, 80-20. Oh, shit, 40-60.
Right back to it.
With Shelly and Ace, I think that this is the most crucial week to see how they're moving. I think this will really paint a picture of whether or not these two are in cahoots because of how they approach this whole thing. Now, I don't know. Because what if they couple up and it's all part of the plan, then they get back together?
I know. I think what Ace is going to do, Ace is going to move very silently through the villa. He's not really going to try to make any connections. He's going to act like he is, but he's not really. And he's going to be trying to tell all the other guys that they need to try to make connections. And he's going to be trying to pull the strings. That's what I think he's going to do. And then at the end of it, he's going to be alone waiting for Shelly to come in. I think Shelly's the real variable there. But we haven't seen, like, I really like Shelly.
I do too. I have no issues with her as a person.
We haven't seen shit from Shelly. Like I'm not seeing
the
her look for any connections. Like again, if you guys are gonna tout this whole go after and play the game the right way, like none of you guys are. You can't go after Jeremiah, who is playing the game the right way.
I know, but you could argue, and I haven't watched prior seasons, but I have a feeling, an inkling, that it's supposed to be more chaotic at this point.
This is the most coupled up and closed off that it's ever been this early.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So with the Shelly and Ace thing, I agree with you about Ace, but I actually have a different take. I think that he's actually going to get involved with somebody quickly. And I think as the week progresses, he's going to pull back towards the end and he's going to be solo on the couch. But I think he's going to...
that makes sense.
I think he's gonna jump in with somebody and be hot and heavy for a little bit, and then pull back at the end to throw us off the scent more. With Amaya and Austin, I imagine both of them are going to couple up with somebody else. I don't see because Amaya has now kind of had the blinders pulled back on Austin because he's cringing every time that she says "babe" and all that. As far as Austin goes, I could also see him wanting to couple up but not having somebody to walk back in with. I don't know who is going to couple up with that man other than Amaya. I truly don't. Especially when you walk into that house, it's like, all right, here's all these guys with charisma and personality, and this is Austin, the pool noodle. Like, it just doesn't fit, man. Like, he's a bad pick for this show. I think he's bad casting. But who else do we have?
What do you think Andreina is going to do?
Oh, that's what I wanted to say. I think this is the biggest test of my theory. And I think genuinely, if Taylor was able to kick it up a notch and be more attentive, I'm not blind, guys. All right. Like, I'm not an idiot. I'm not watching this going, like, seeing something you're not. The friendship is so legit. And like the way that they converse with each other, so legit. That's where I'm like, if they can get over this hump, then I think there's something really real there. But if Andrina goes to Casa Amor and some dude sweeps her off her feet, she's coming back with that guy because she's like, this is what I'm missing from Taylor, and this is what I have been missing. On the flip side, if Taylor meets somebody that he is genuinely out of the gate attracted to, I think that he's going to couple up with somebody else. But I think what this could also do, and this is what I'm going to hold on to because I'm Team Andrina for life, I think both of them are going to be very interested in somebody else. But when they get closer to that final decision, they're going to be like, wait, but they're missing this. They're missing that. They're missing this. Taylor has this. Taylor has that. Andrina has this. Andrina has that. They're going to realize what they have in each other. It's going to make their bond that much stronger. And then we're going to see the fireworks. And then they're going to boink in the speakeasy. That's what I think.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the dudes, honestly, I think Nick is an idiot, and he's probably going to do exactly what you said. He's probably going to end up coupling up with somebody and then realizing he made a mistake when Sierra comes back alone. Taylor is going to do whatever Ace tells him to do.
That's also a very, very valid point.
If Ace tells him that he needs to explore, he'll explore. If Ace tells him he should couple up with him because him and Andreina don't really have a shot, he will do that. So that's pretty much what's going to happen there. Shelly's my real wild card. I think everybody's going to have a good time. Huda's going to be insufferable, I believe.
There's going to be a lot.
It's impossible for her to go home during this because there's no eliminations, but at least until after they get back.
She wouldn't get voted off anyway. Like, I don't know why she is so protected. I agreed. Yeah. We both agreed. I think America agreed. Mm-hmm. She couldn't go home after the initial fallout because we needed to see the crash out. Yeah. Now that we saw it, we've had 2 opportunities now that make the most sense to send her on her way. Yep. Same with Austin. Like, that was the perfect time to get rid of the 2 duds in the house.
It was.
And then some shenanigans happened.
And it would have been great. And like, I think what they're doing right now is, and I'm talking about the producers and the show in general, and maybe even the Islanders, they're so focused on making the big splash because of how big the Huda stuff was that's what they're doing. Like, send Hannah home, everybody's gonna freak out. Send Jeremiah home, everybody's gonna freak out.
Just make the right
Sometimes
decisions.
You have to make the right call to make the house vibe way better than it has been. And if you get rid of, the duds, if you get rid of the lowest person on the totem pole, we're going to be happy with it. Yeah, we're not going to all be talking about it. There's going to be a couple of tweets here and there where it's like, wow, that was underwhelming. But at the end of the day, we're all going to understand why it happened. This is just kind of like bullshit and stupid, but it's going to be very interesting. This week's going to be very fun for us to cover, I believe. Our next 2 episodes will pretty much be Casa Amor. I would imagine next Sunday night is probably the end of it. They'll probably get that edited in time so that Sunday night is like the big reveal.
That makes sense to me.
And then Monday night will probably be the here's who's vulnerable, who's going home, blah blah blah. So that'll be kind of interesting. But
the way they're doing this season, there might be like midweek of Casa Amor. The Islanders get to kick somebody out. Like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I don't think they can do it during Casa Amor. I might be wrong about that, but I just don't think so. Like, to put it into perspective, I don't think it would hit as hard because you'd be getting rid of an Austin or an Amaya or a Iris or whatever. But the main Islanders who actually stay there, the residents, if you will, aren't going to be able to see it because the dudes are in a completely different place. The girls are in a different place. So it just wouldn't hit as hard. What do you say we get into some of these questiones?
Yeah, I'm sure we got a billion.
Not nearly as much as I figured. It's too hot. People are just dead.
People's phones are broken because it's so hot. They're getting temperature warnings.
Yeah. From Ella Lanny, did they not show them talking through their decisions because it was so ridiculous? That is a possibility. The decision making may be really stupid and make zero sense, and they decided it would be a better build-up if we don't see that. I do think they're holding on to that footage, and there's probably some interesting information. That's what the other part of my theory was that they're going to hold on to Jeremiah and have him return while Andrina is in Casa Amor. Maybe not right away, maybe not tonight. I'm just saying maybe later in the week.
He needs to come back, bro.
Have him walk in, keep it very close to the chest. Don't tell anybody. The dudes won't even see him. And then have Andrina walk back on Sunday or Monday night, whatever it is, with Jeremiah and watch all those idiots' faces drop. Then we go right to movie night and we're talking about the decision. And yeah, poor Hannah's not going to be there.
But we get to see them talking shit about Jeremiah.
Talking shit about Jeremiah and why they're doing it.
Mm-hmm. Fuck yeah. I love that, actually.
If they do it right, they would do that. If, they don't care.
When are we going to be allowed to produce a show?
I don't know, man. It's got to happen soon.
It has to. Before we die, we need to produce one season of something.
Here you go. From Keckles. Could it be any more obvious how jealous Ace and Nick are of Jeremiah?
No, it's such like little dick energy. It's tough to watch, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, I guess based on the votes on the app, Ace should have been in the bottom 3. I didn't know that.
See, that's where I don't know if some people were just doctoring screenshots just to put it out there and get.
Yeah, which could easily have happened.
It's like, why don't we? I know we use some AI for good. Why don't we use AI for that? Like, hey, no, this is wrong. Just AI can be the security for misinformation.
That seems like I don't know. That seems like a Skynet thing now. Now they're security and now they take over.
Oh, I was thinking it's like iRobot.
Take your
for your own safety, stay in your apartment.
Yeah. From Mary Had a Little, are we buying Huda's redemption arc? No, she's trying to figure out a way to get people to like her because she realizes how shitty of a season she had, and now she's panicking that she's going to get sent home. But now she's going to feel invincible. She's survived multiple eliminations that make no sense.
This is a good point, and I really agree with this. But from Kay Lookerwoods, is there any possibility that the Casa boys haven't already seen Huda's crash out episodes? They should be quarantining these dudes and not showing them anything.
I agree.
If you want Huda to try to, thrive, if you want to keep her around for whatever reason because she's entertaining, she can be, then this is what you have to do. Otherwise, we're going to get what we saw tonight with TJ.
Yeah, I agree. Where did this one go? I had it. It was a good one. 9 innings with Nat. With no strong couples in the villa at the moment, who do you think will win the season? Right now, if you thought there was a winning couple, who would that be? Or winning person?
God.
Alandria?
If you asked me Saturday, I probably would have said Nick and Sierra. After that conversation, maybe not. I think Alandria is going to win. With or without Taylor.
You're right. Nope.
With or without Taylor.
With Taylor, that's right.
She got so many votes for the best person in the villa. So
she's awesome.
She rocks. I don't see that changing. And I do think if she comes back from Casa Amor with a dude and we like the guy, I think that they're just going to skyrocket.
And they might. Look, if she finds somebody and like they have that, not just the friendship that Taylor and her have, but also like the sexual tension and all that. Yeah, that would be a rocket ship. Donia for president. As men, how would you tell Sierra to move after that talk with Nick? I think exactly how she said she's going to. Yeah. She's going to move carefully, and she's opening herself back up. And I think that's a smart move. I don't think that Sierra needs a whole lot of help from people. I think she's got a good head on her shoulders, and like when she sees a flag, she's like, "Oh, I got to pivot." So I trust that she's going to make the right moves, and I do believe that Nick is going to be standing, for lack of a better term, with his dick in his hand at the end of this going, wow, I really, really fucked that up.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do one more in here. Oh, okay. So there is a lot of conversation about this from Oik_TV. Do you think the girls dumped Hannah so that Huda could steal Pepe?
No,
I hope
don't
not.
Think so
I really
don't think Huda has that many allies. I think a lot of girls in the house are just like pity nice to her almost. I don't think she has that much support.
It's just tough because we don't really understand why they got rid of Hannah out of those three.
It makes no sense.
So yeah, this is when people start to spiral and just start theorizing a lot of different shit that doesn't really make any sense. Yeah, so I can't really wrap my head around it. If that was a reason for them to get rid of Hannah, that's so stupid.
Hannah should not have gone. I mean, at the end of the day, like that simply should not have happened. And I will be pissed about that for a long time. She was great on this show too when she was like doing things. I know when she coupled up, she kind of faded back a little bit, but when she was involved, I think she's great.
I agree.
The last one I'm going to read just because it is applicable. From Josie Thibbert. Why do people get mad about you guys spoiling things? It's a recap podcast. You guys are great. For the life of me, I don't know, but it has been happening for years. This is not like a new thing. Like if we talk about what happened at the end in the beginning of a podcast, we get shit for it.
Correct.
So I don't know why, but it is what it is. And now I do think it's like somewhat of an ongoing bit to which we will lean into.
Yeah, I can't wait. Our next episode's going to air Thursday. So I guarantee you Wednesday night, we're going to have questions. And half of those questions are going to be talking about us spoiling stuff. So.
Yeah. Why did you say that Jeremiah got sent home in the first 10 minutes? It's like, because what the fuck?
Because we couldn't wait.
Yeah, because we have to talk about it. But look, obviously there's some frustrations with the show. That should not take away from how great this show is.
Are you kidding me? It's still like
it's phenomenal.
Appointment television at this point.
Yeah, it's outstanding. It's the first show in a long time that I am watching live as much as I possibly can. But there's some things that need to shift, and hopefully maybe this is the perfect time. And I think it is, just knowing what I know now about Casa Amor. I do believe that this is the perfect time to have it come in, remind some of these people, this is why you're here, to explore other connections. And I think it's going to shake things up at the right time.
Hell yeah.
You got anything else?
Nope.
Well, that's our show. Bros gotta go.